If this is part of the heist, I will dump you so hard.
No, please, Ames, like, it's really happening, okay?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 TV marriage proposals.
I'm so coming back next week.
Would you please shut up? I can't hear the answer.
There's a reason why girls don't do this.
Okay.
For this list, we're looking at the greatest proposal scenes from our favorite TV shows. What proposal scene is the one you'll always remember? Let us know in the comments below. Number 20, Leonard and Penny, The Big Bang Theory.
I finally realized I don't need to be famous or have some big career to be happy.
Then what do you need?
You stupid Pop-Tart!
Although Howard's proposal to Bernadette got us all excited, Leonard and Penny's engagement had been a long time coming.
Then I guess I'm in.
Really? You guess you're in?
Leading up to this anticipated moment, both of these characters actually proposed to each other on separate occasions. First, Leonard asked Penny to marry him, but his timing was a tad off.
People say weird things during sex all the time.
Okay, well they sure as hell don't say that.
Well, it's the heat of the moment.
Later down the line, a drunken Penny caught Leonard off guard by getting down on one knee. Finally, the on-again, off-again couple came to a mutual agreement to wed.
So is that it? Are we engaged?
Yeah, I think so.
Although this proposal may seem anticlimactic at first, Leonard makes the occasion infinitely more momentous by revealing a ring he's been carrying around for years.
Penny, will you marry me?
Oh my God, yes.
Number 19, Charlotte and Harry, Sex and the City.
Out of all the synagogues in all the cities, you had to walk into mine.
It's not surprising that Charlotte's marriage to Trey didn't last, especially considering that Trey's response to the proposal was just,
Alrighty.
Of course, if it hadn't been for that failed relationship, Charlotte never would have met her divorce lawyer, Harry Goldenblatt, and found true love.
I think I may be falling in love with you.
I've been falling for you since the moment we met.
Although their courtship was rocky at times, the two finally sorted out their differences in this heartfelt scene. Professing her love, Charlotte realizes that she wants to be with Harry, even if they never marry.
I don't care if you ever marry me. I just want to be with you. I would be lucky to have you.
Seeing things clearly now, Harry decides to give Charlotte the storybook proposal she's always dreamed of.
Charlotte York, will you marry me?
Yes. Yes, I'll marry you. Oh.
Needless to say, it's the highlight of singles night. Number 18, Jim and Pam, The Office.
We're still good for this weekend, right? No t-ball games, recitals, karate tournaments.
Hey, can you go to IM?
Okay.
Okay.
Jim and Pam from the American version of The Office have to be one of the greatest TV couples of all time. And while Jim may be adept at putting tons of planning into elaborate pranks, we probably should have known that this proposal would be a sweet and simple one without any fanfare. Jim and Pam's relationship was never over the top. It was just two best friends falling for one another.
Can't wait.
Oh my God.
So when Jim pops the question at a highway rest stop, it may not be the stuff of great romance, but it's perfectly romantic just the same. Number 17, Jackson and April, Grey's Anatomy.
And you, April and Matthew's closest friends and family, are here today to bear witness to their union.
Many of the proposals on this list are of the traditional get down on one knee variety, but this one is a little bit different. As April and Matthew get ready to exchange their vows, Jackson stands up in the audience and proclaims his love for April. She ultimately runs away from her own wedding with him, and the audience later finds out that they've eloped.
Happy to be here today.
I love you, April. I always have. I love everything about you. Even the things I don't like, I love. And I want you with me. I love you, and I think that you love me too.
We don't even get to see Jackson propose, which makes this an unconventional proposal for sure. But this grand romantic gesture did lead to a wedding, and isn't that what really matters?
Stand up and take it.
Number 16, Luke and LORELAI, Gilmore Girls.
Rory dropped out of Yale.
What?
She dropped out of Yale and she moved in with my parents, who I went to for help, and they stabbed me in the back. Everything we worked for all these years, her whole future. She was supposed to have more than me.
Even in this modern day, it's still pretty rare to see women propose to men on TV or in movies. That's why this example from Gilmore Girls is one of our favorites. After Rory announces that she will no longer be attending Yale, Luke quickly jumps into action, rattling off a list of strategies, both reasonable and absurd, to LORELAI, formulating a plan to ensure Rory sticks to the right path. LORELAI listens patiently, and when he finally stops speaking, she asks him in the most simple, straightforward, and unplanned way if he'll marry her.
Luke, will you marry me?
What?
And we've got to say, Max's proposal to LORELAI in the first season finale is one for the books too.
God, you talk so good.
I don't want an answer now. I've thought about this. I want you to do the same. I love you, LORELAI Gilmore. And I know this to be true.
Number 15, Schmidt and Cece, New Girl. New Girl's Schmidt has a habit of saying stupid things at the wrong time, but his timing in this next moment could not be more perfect.
You're about to say something stupid, aren't you?
Girl, I'm gonna marry you.
In season 4, Schmidt and Cece are still friends despite being in an on-off scenario for several seasons. Schmidt is dying to be with Cece again, but is convinced that the ship has sailed.
I know it's my fault that I lost her.
You lost her twice. You
I know I
had
lost her.
her.
Why would you have to?
Then you got her, then you blew it. Then
Who are you
got
clarifying this for?
Thankfully, Jess bends the rules among friends and reveals that Cece is in fact still in love with Schmidt.
Also, Winston promised.
Why are we talking about Winston? Cece loves me! Yes, we did it! I gotta go!
As he prepares to venture out to find her, Cece enters and Schmidt lays it all on the table.
Cecilia Puri.
Oh God, you're gonna say something stupid, aren't you?
Girl, will you marry me?
Featuring an epic callback to one of their first moments together, Schmidt pops the question, surrounded by all his friends.
We're getting married!
Number 14, Barry and Iris, The Flash.
And my mom used to always say that musicals have the power to make everything better.
Did it work?
The Flash is a CW superhero series, so when a musical episode showed up in the middle of season 3, fans were surprised and delighted. While the gang gets into plenty of musical hijinks, the episode ends on a sentimental note when Barry begins singing to Iris, a song called Running Home to You.
Just come running home to you.
The entire performance is sugary sweet, with him serenading her with his romantic tune. As the song winds to a close, it starts to become obvious where this is heading, and he pulls out a ring asking her to marry him, to which she happily says yes.
But I want you in it. Every hour, every minute.
Number 13, Nathan and Haley, One Tree Hill.
Well, you know, docs are kind of special for us. Remember the time Dan busted us for drinking?
Ugh, don't remind me. Although I have to say, I did kind of enjoy throwing up on him.
Usually, memorable proposals don't happen when a couple is already married, but this is One Tree Hill, so you always have to be ready for the unexpected. Nathan and Haley first get married in season 1 of the show, when they're full of young love. By season 3, however, they've gone through plenty of ups and downs as a couple, and so Nathan proposes all over again, suggesting that this time they actually get married in front of all the important people in their lives.
Haley,
What are you doing?
over the past year, I learned so much about life and love. And even if I could, I wouldn't take back all the bad stuff that's happened between us. Because it brought us here.
Of course, Haley says yes. And while they don't quite live happily ever after without incident, they're still hands down the best couple on this crazy show.
Marry me, Haley. Marry me again in front of all our friends and our family.
Always. Always and forever.
Number 12, Glenn and Maggie, The Walking Dead.
I want to marry Maggie. And we don't have to have a wedding. I don't even know if it'll last a week, but I want her to know.
It's not a stretch to say that The Walking Dead isn't a romantic show, but amidst all the death and devastation, there are some tender moments of love.
Just one more thing before that.
Glenn and Maggie were a fan-favorite couple. And in season 3, Glenn steals a quite beautiful ring from a walker's finger and puts it in Maggie's hand, wordlessly asking her to be his wife. It's clear that there won't be a typical wedding and that this won't be a typical marriage, but that doesn't stop the love that's obviously present between these two.
Yes.
Number 11, Mary and Matthew, Downton Abbey.
Would you stay? If I asked you to?
Downton Abbey has never been afraid to be romantic, and this proposal is possibly the single loveliest moment in the entire series.
You've lived your life and I've lived mine. And now it's time we live them together.
Although Mary and Matthew belong together, they find themselves engaged to different people in season 2. After a long string of tragedy and heartbreak, the two at last confront their feelings for each other.
We've been on the edge of this so many times, Matthew. Please don't take me there again unless you're sure.
I am sure.
If they're to become engaged, however, Mary insists that Matthew do it properly. And so, with the snowy landscape adding another level of atmosphere, Matthew gets down on one knee and closes out this Christmas special on a magical note.
Lady Mary Crawley, will you do me the honor of becoming my wife?
Yes.
Number 10, Niles and Daphne, Frasier.
You know, it's funny. You could take 1,000,000 years to plan the perfect evening, and you'd never come up with this.
Being a psychiatrist, Niles naturally puts a bit too much thought into his proposal to Daphne, writing a lengthy speech, enlisting a string quartet, and even hiring Chef Wolfgang Puck to prepare a fancy dinner. Niles maps out the proposal of the century.
Everything all right in here?
With the food, no problem.
Everything's under control, Niles. We're all set. You just relax, okay?
Plans go awry, though, when Daphne shows up with the flu. This leads to some great farcical comedy as Frasier helps Niles get everyone else out of the apartment.
Do you want to borrow my pajamas?
No, I feel silly in those. They're so big and baggy.
I'm the only one here that's going to see you.
The humor is balanced out with romance, as Niles finds that now is the perfect moment to ask the woman he loves the big question.
Will you marry me?
Oh, Niles! Of course I will!
Number 9, Leslie and Ben, Parks and Recreation.
Actually, is there a way I could put down like a... Hey!
Hey.
I didn't know you were coming back here.
Oh.
What are you doing?
Faced with a huge career opportunity, Ben is forced to think about his future, which would be incomplete without Leslie. Thus, he decides to secure his life with her by proposing in their dream home.
I am deeply, ridiculously in love with you.
However, before Ben can even finish asking the big question, Leslie hits the pause button to savor the moment.
Wait. Okay?
Okay.
I need to remember this.
Sure.
Give me a second.
Okay.
Then, when Ben tries to ask again, Leslie gives him a premature response.
Leslie, nope. Will you?
Yes!
Just to make it official, though, Ben gets the last 2 words of his question out in the middle of a kiss.
Marry me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
It's a proposal that's as funny as it is touching, demonstrating why Leslie and Ben are television's most adorable couple. Number 8, Derek and Meredith, Grey's Anatomy.
Hey, come on in.
Dr. Meredith Grey and Dr. Derek Shepherd are the classic will they won't they couple for the ages. After almost 5 seasons, Grey's Anatomy didn't disappoint with this long overdue proposal. As Meredith enters an elevator, Derek takes her on a trip down memory lane via CT scans.
That's the first surgery we ever scrubbed in together. Our first save. Right here is a cerebral cyst. Tough save, but we did it. I kissed you in the stairwell after the surgery.
Although he shows Meredith a series of brain x-rays, Derek definitely thinks with his heart in this moment. He doesn't get down on one knee or even pop the big question. Yet despite this unconventional proposal, Derek makes his feelings for Meredith more than abundantly clear.
I'm not gonna get down on one knee. I'm not gonna ask a question. I love you, Meredith Grey. And I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
Now you see why they call him McDreamy.
I get it now.
Number 7, Chuck and Blair, Gossip Girl.
I don't feel guilty, but that doesn't mean that I'm not.
Just because the reason for a proposal isn't the most romantic, doesn't mean the proposal itself isn't. In the series finale of Gossip Girl, Bart Bass has just been killed, and both Chuck and Blair are going to be questioned about the circumstances of his death.
Even if they torture me, I won't speak.
I had a different kind of torture in mind.
Jack Bass suggests that in order to gain spousal privilege, so that Blair doesn't have to testify against Chuck, they get married. Blair is quick to jump on the idea, and Chuck agrees, using this stressful and dramatic moment to ask her to be his wife. We knew this would happen eventually, but we couldn't imagine it would happen like this.
Blair. Cornelia Waldorf. Will you marry me?
Number 6, Cory and Topanga, Boy Meets World.
Mr. Feeney said I should go to Yale unless I have a really good reason not to.
Well, there isn't any good reason.
Actually, there is.
If you grew up in the 90s, there's zero doubt that Cory Matthews and Topanga Lawrence were your one true pairing. These two kids reached a milestone at the end of season 5 as they graduated from high school.
Cory, I know what I want to do with my life.
Shh, I'm speaking in public. This will never happen again in our lives.
Of course, their graduation was an afterthought compared to Topanga's proposal to Cory during the ceremony.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, the John Adams High School class of 1998.
Will you marry me?
Audiences had to wait months to hear Cory's answer, and then another week for Topanga's answer. It was an emotional roller coaster for viewers, to say the least, but Cory and Topanga eventually came to a decision together that touched all of our hearts.
That's what we decided. We're gonna get married when we're ready. And when we're ready, you'll be the first to know.
Number 5, Kurt and Blaine, Glee.
You know, all you gotta do is say yes, no, or maybe.
Is there another option?
There are a lot of great proposals on Glee, from Will and Emma's to Brittany and Santana's, to of course Kurt and Blaine's, which has to be our favorite. This much-loved couple ended up getting engaged in the very spot where they first met, after Blaine staged an epic musical performance featuring just about everyone they both knew.
Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy.
This proposal is basically exactly what we'd expect from these two. It's over the top, it's colorful, it's full of music, and above all, it made us want to bawl our eyes out with happiness. There was no way Kurt could say no to this one.
And I just feel so lucky that I found you so soon in this lifetime. Because all I want to do, all I've ever wanted to do, is spend my life loving you.
Number 4, Barney and Robin, How I Met Your Mother.
Barney's getting engaged.
We've gotta admit, with the perspective of a few years, Barney's antics on How I Met Your Mother seem a lot less charming. But at the time that this episode aired, fans couldn't help but be taken with this notorious playboy finally making the decision to settle down. Of course, he couldn't possibly propose to Robin in any sort of normal functional way, opting instead to orchestrate an insanely elaborate play as the final move for his playbook.
This is proof of why we don't work, why we'll never work. So thank you. You've set me free, because how could I be with a man who thinks that this trick, this enormous lie could ever make me want to date him again?
Turn it over.
It involves lies, deception, and manipulation, and Robin is not impressed. But when he gets down on one knee, she still can't say no.
Yes.
In the oceans deep, in the can.
Number 3, Michael and Holly, The Office.
Let's go in here. Okay.
While seeing Jim and Pam finally get engaged was heartwarming, it was Michael's proposal to Holly that really took us by surprise.
Will you marry me?
No.
Easy, no?
Will you marry me? No.
That would be hot. I would pay to see that.
Considering how Michael can sometimes be an inept, selfish, and even unlikable person, you wouldn't think he could ever be genuinely romantic. However, with help from the entire office, Michael pulls off a beautiful proposal with candles galore and a few warm words.
This is where I fell in love with you. And this is where I ask you to marry me.
When the sprinkler system goes, Michael cuts to the chase in a Yoda voice, which Holly accepts, also speaking in a Yoda voice.
Holly Flax, marrying me will you be?
Your wife becoming me will I.
Everyone is ecstatic for the couple, although Michael's announcement that they're moving to Colorado leaves his employees stunned.
Holly has to go back to Colorado. I'm going with her. I'm leaving.
Number 2. Jake and Amy, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Rotten hell, crap face! Also, I love you and I treasure you, and you bore me.
God, you're being so mean. Do it more.
I hope you die. Bye.
From the moment we were introduced to Jake and Amy in Brooklyn's 99th precinct, it was clear that there was palpable chemistry between these two. Though they may have spent the first few seasons sparring, it eventually turned to outright flirting, which eventually turned into a relationship.
Oh my God, I'm shaking. I'm definitely gonna cry. Title of your sex tape. Wait, is this really happening?
In a rare moment of seriousness from Jake, he gets down on one knee and offers Amy a ring while delivering an adorable speech about how much he loves her. And because it's Jake, and because this couldn't possibly be too serious, of course he still mentions her butt.
I love how smart you are. I love how beautiful you are. I love your face, and I love your butt. I should have written this down first.
No, it's okay. Go on.
Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Matt and Julie, Friday Night Lights.
Julie Taylor. Will you marry me?
Yes.
Snow White and Prince Charming, Once Upon a Time.
Now, I never want it off your finger. Will you marry me?
Booth and Bones, Bones.
I want to marry you. Will you marry me, Booth?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Mitch and Cam, Modern Family.
All right, come on, let's do this.
Yeah. Yes.
Dexter and Rita, Dexter.
Always go out for banana splits. And replant the lemon tree that keeps dying. And I never ever want to miss a pizza night. And that's how I know I want to marry you.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Monica and Chandler, Friends.
You wanted it to be a surprise.
Following an ill-conceived proposal one season earlier, Chandler prepares to ask Monica to marry him for the right reason.
I'm doing this because I'm sorry.
Do you really think the best reason to get married is because you're sorry?
Well, no, the best reason to get married is pregnancy.
After Richard's untimely return, it appears Chandler has lost Monica forever. However, in a tender twist, Monica surprises Chandler with a proposal of her own.
And all my life, I never thought I would be so lucky. Is to fall in love with my best.
Too emotional to get through it, Chandler completes the proposal in one of the most moving and iconic Friends moments ever.
You make me happier than I ever thought I could be. And if you let me, I will spend the rest of my life trying to make you feel the same way.
Everyone else then shows up to celebrate. Well, except for Ross, but he knows a thing or two about getting engaged anyway.
Oh, no, wait, no, this is wrong. Ross isn't here. Oh, hell, he's done this 3 times. He knows what it's about.
Watching Monica and Chandler dance the night away over the credits is the cherry on top of TV's finest proposal.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.